And there we go. All right, so the number one thing you can do to build a successful real estate business. Hey, John, what's the number one thing I can do to build a successful real estate business? Cool, here's your answer.
Lead generate.
Lead generate, I love it. Oh, that's great. Build community within your database. There's your answer. Build community within your database. Now, I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps that I want you to follow, and then a whole bunch of notes. Step number 1, build your database. From the top of page 142 in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, Gary Keller says, at the heart of your lead generation program will be a large, powerful, underline those words, large and powerful contact management database. Think of the names of the people in your database and the relationships you have with them as your business. Think of the names in your database and the relationships that you have with them as your database, as your business. Your business is your database. Your database is your business. Your business is your database. Your database is your business. You're going to hear me say that over and over again. Relationships are your business. Hashtag relationships are your business. Okay, step number 2, start small. If you don't have a big sphere of influence, and think progress. Start small. Hey, John, I don't have a large group of people I know. Cool, no worries. Start with the group that you do know and think progress. Now, progress to me means systematically adding people to your database. There's 4 rules of your database, according to the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Rule number 1, build a database. Rule number 2, feed it every day. Feed it every day means you're systematically adding people to your database. So if you don't have a large group of people that you know, start with the people that you do know, and then systematically add people to your database every day. One of the agents that was on a panel at Family Reunion, she lives in Destin, Florida. She's a luxury agent, single agent, closes $24 million a year in volume with 2 administrative assistants. She picks a street, one street, and researches the contact information for everybody on that street. Name, address, phone number, email address. And then she calls them. She calls everybody on that street and she has conversations. And part of the conversation is, hey, by the way, I like to keep my friends and family members updated on the market. Would it be okay if I added you to that group? Script, write it down. Now, if you picked a neighborhood and you said, okay, I'm gonna start with one street, right, Denise? And I'm gonna get to know everybody on that street and I'm gonna add them to my database. I'm gonna have conversations with them and I'm gonna start building a relationship. And if I picked one street a week and just focused on that, over time, would I eventually have almost everybody in that neighborhood in my database? Say yes, you would. We way overestimate what we can accomplish in a year, and we way underestimate what we can accomplish in 5 years. You should write that down. We overestimate what we can accomplish in a year. And the problem with that is when we don't accomplish what we think we should, we get what? Frustrated. And frustration leads to what? Resignation. This ain't working. I'm going to go work at Starbucks. Michael Topo has his hand up. Talk to us, Michael.
There's something else that I think needs to be said about that as well. If you're focusing on one street or one community, if you speak to a couple of people in that community and you start kind of getting a buzz, they start talking about you as well. Mm-hmm. So there's kind of that little residual effect. It happened yesterday, when I was circle prospecting this one community, and they're like, oh yeah, I know so-and-so, right? So it already starts to build some kind of credibility, I think, within the community.
Nice. I agree. Yeah. Isn't that cool when everybody in the neighborhood starts talking to one another and they say, hey, have you talked to that Michael Topo guy from Keller Williams? Guy's pretty cool. He's got some great information on real estate. If you haven't talked to him, you probably should. Become known as what? The local economist of choice. When people in the neighborhood think real estate, they think you. Larry, talk to us.
It's so true, and I know we're guilty of it too. Is your people, particularly starting out like we have over this last 12, 13, 14 months, you try to swallow a whale. And what you end up doing is you start casting things so broadly in the neighborhood, and you're not focused. So you're doing half of what you should be doing in terms of building the relationships and getting the information from the people. Instead, you're thinking you're just going to just broadcast like grassy. Johnny Appleseed, I'm just going to throw it everywhere and we'll see, some of those readings, some lands in the weeds, some lands in the rocks, some lands on good soil, and the good soil works, but it's a random thing. And you start acting like it's out of your control. And it really is. And I like your idea of just take a street a week, get Vulcan or get however, and get the phone numbers, get the names, get the email addresses, and just focus on it. Then do the next street, or do 15 homes, maybe it's not a whole street, it's a long street. But I think so many of us try to swallow a whale instead of dealing with little goldfish for a while.
Really good stuff. And for those of you who are listening and thinking, where do I get the contact information for everybody on the street? Well, one of the ways is walk down the street and knock on the door and ask. Another way is, as Larry mentioned, Vulcan 7 is technology that you can purchase and download contact information by neighborhood. Absolutely. A few more hands up and I will get to you, but let me move on to step number 3. And then I'm going to come back to the hands that are raised. So don't put your hand down. There you go, Vicki, put it back up. Okay. Step number 3, go from small to big by thinking standards. Go from small to big by thinking standards. Bottom of page 142 in your playbook, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, Gary Keller says, building up the number of names in your database with those names. Building up the number of names in your database, sorry guys, with those names is really at the very core of what building a real estate business is all about. Guys, you can go to bottom of page 142 and just check my notes because it's 4 a.m. when I'm writing this and I might have missed a word in there. The size of your real estate sales business will be in direct proportion to the size and quality of your database. One more note, and then I'm going to go to the hands raised. Number 4, hold your database, yourself, and your team accountable to a standard on returns. Now, this is new information. I haven't shared this with you before because I didn't steal it from somebody else until recently. And I thought, that's brilliant. I'm stealing it. And this comes from Jenny Wallach. If you don't know Jenny, look her up on Facebook. She's amazing. My Journey with Jenny is her Facebook community. And her coach is Jordan Freed. He's a MAPS coach that I have a ton of respect for. Here's what Jordan Freed taught Jenny. A 5% return on your database is okay. Now, what do I mean by a 5% return? What I mean is if you have 100 relationships in your database, and at the end of the year, you've closed 5 sales from your database. That's a 5% return, yes? Mm-hmm. So a 5% return is okay. A 10% return is good. And a 15% return is great. Now, what the Jenny Wallach team does is they've actually added this to their 411. And what they do is they track as a team, how many contacts do we have in command and what's the return? And they hold themselves accountable to good to great returns. What would your real estate business look like if you had 200 people that you were in relationship with and you got a 15% return? That would be 30 sales if I did the math right, right? And if the average commission check is $10,000, again, if I'm doing the math right, that's $300,000. You've built a database that gives you a $300,000 return every year. Is that valuable? Say yes. 100% it is. And what we know is that there are 83 million homeowners in the US. And in 2021, 6.2 million homes were sold. That's approximately 7%. You guys see the numbers, 5, 10, 15. Approximately 7% of your database is going to move every 12 months. So you get business directly from the people who are in your database who are moving. You also get referrals. If you got 2 leads for every 12 people, isn't that about a 15% return? You're getting a referral, you're getting direct business. Are you holding yourself accountable to a return on those relationships? All right, Vicki, talk to us.
I love this, and this truly helps so much. And I love what Larry stated, don't try to swallow a whale, because it is true. You know, just taking and choosing your high standards and taking, you know, small amounts of people, you know, choose the value over the volume. I love that. And it's quality over quantity.
Yep.
And you really need to take that time and nurture those relationships, because just like Michael said, you know, they're gonna, once they have that conversation with you and you make that connection and you have, you know, provided them with value, they're gonna have a conversation with someone else. So it is going to have that domino effect.
Absolutely. Yeah, good stuff. And Vicki, you're a part of Jason Cappett's group, and Jason's been a real estate agent for like 100 years. And prior to coming to Keller Williams, did Jason Capett have lots of relationships, Vicki?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's something he, no matter where he goes, he makes sure that he has that moment and connects with those people. And that's huge. You leave an impression on each person you meet. They're going to come back to you.
It's priceless, 100%. Step number 5, systematically communicate to your database. Top of page 1, number 4, hold your database, yourself, and your team accountable to a standard on returns. Step number 5, systematically communicate to your database. Top of page 145 in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, Gary Keller says, real estate sales is a contact sport. Actually, it is a close contact sport, and the best players believe it is a frequent and systematic close contact sport. To succeed at a high level in your real estate sales, you must commit to frequent contact with a database with the intent of building close relationships. The intent is not to sell a lot of homes. It's the byproduct of building relationships. The intent is to build relationships. I just want to share some notes that I wrote down from family reunion and a couple of the different breakouts that I was attending that are relevant to this conversation. When you focus on building relationships with your database, you don't have the same competition for leads as everybody else. Did you know that according to the National Association of Realtors, 68% of home sellers in 2021 chose their real estate agent based on a referral, or they had done business with them in the past. 68%. Now, here's what I hear, Aaron. The other side of that is if 68% of homeowners chose their real estate agent based on a referral, or they had done business with them in the past, everybody else is competing for the 32% that remains. Wow. Wow. That means for sell by owners, expired listings, paying for leads. What's left? 32%. And everybody else is fighting over that 32%. If you want an unfair advantage on your competition, build close relationships with the people in your database so that when they think of selling, they wouldn't think of selling their home, Audrey, without talking to you, right? If they know of somebody who's thinking or buying or selling a home, they would say, you've got to talk to Juanita before you sell your home. She's the best. It gives you an unfair advantage. ABC your database and focus most of your time, money, and energy on your A's. Now, when I'm talking about focusing most of your time, money, and energy, I'm talking about those 36 touches that you make to your database. And let me give you an example of what I mean. If you're doing events, and I'm going to give you some suggestions on events here in just a second. If you're doing events, let's say one of the events you're doing is you're inviting a small group to your house for dinner. You're not going to invite 300 people. You're going to invite the A's. If you're going to buy a block of tickets for your clients to attend a sporting event with you, right? A Dolphins game or a baseball game. What's our baseball team's name here? Marlins. And you're not going to invite 300 people, but you can invite the A's. Yes? So ABC your database and spend most of your time, money, and energy on the A's. How would you ABC your database? Use tags. Tags live inside command. And that way, when you do a search, you can search all of your A's. Use events as part of your 36 touch. Okay, here's some event ideas. Do a family photo shoot event. It'll cost you $500 to hire a photographer, set up a day and a time, have food and drinks, invite your A's, maybe your B's to come in, or do it at a location that you choose, fun, and shoot family photographs. When's the last time you did photographs with your family? Maybe when you went on a cruise. And does it cost money? Yes. And if a real estate agent offered an opportunity for you to come to an event and do a family photo shoot, is that something that you would want to do? Yeah. Is there value in that? 100%. Do a pet photo shoot. That one I loved. I don't know why. I got more excited about that than I did the family photo shoot. Don't tell Monica. But if I can go get a cat picture with Casper, I'm all in. Oh, that's bad. Reverse bold 100. So a reverse bold 100 is you're going to do an event. And an event is around a giveaway. Now, if it's a giveaway, it needs to be a high ticket item, like that bicycle thing. What's a Peloton? Thank you. Another giveaway that I heard was the big green egg. Those smoker grills. Those things are like $1,000. Pretty cool. Would I like to have one? Yes. Do I have one? No. Why? Because Monica would kick my butt. Now, if I want it, that would be exciting. And part of a reverse bold 100, listen to this, is in order for me to register, to call you, for my name to be in the drawing, I have to fill out a registration form giving you what? Data. All of that, Aaron. All of that. How long have you lived in your home? If you were to sell your home, where would you go? What does your dream home look like? You can ask anything you want, and you're collecting data. And what's so awesome about a reverse bold 100 is you're not calling 100 people. 100 people are calling you.
It's a reverse.
Bold 100.
John,
Do micro events. I'm going to close on this. I've got one more thing I'm going to share with you. Oh yeah, that's important. I am going to share that. Michael, I'm coming to you in just a second. Micro event. So a micro event is I'm going to rent I'm going to pay for a charter boat to take a group of 10 of my best friends fishing. It's a micro event. I'm going to invite all of the dads that are a part of a school group that my children attend, Dad's Night Out. I'm going to invite them to play poker. Micro event. Do micro events. Every event doesn't have to be a huge party. You can do small micro events. You do this all the time already. You just don't think about it being related to your real estate business. I invite friends to go play golf with me all the time, and I've never thought, wow, I'm a team leader. I recruit real estate agents to Keller Williams for a living. Why don't I pick out 7, 8 real estate agents that I want to get in business with to go play golf with me? Now I've got a captured audience for 4 hours, right? And do you think I'm going to talk to them about their real estate business? Yes, of course I am. All right, one last idea. Build a Facebook group for your database, a private Facebook group for your database. Be a connector to connect people. You're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're this, you're that. You need to meet Bob, you need to meet Sue, you need to meet whoever, and be the Angie's List of real estate.
What is?
Angie's List of real estate. So that anytime anybody thinks anything related to their home, you're the source. I don't know about you, but if you didn't get value from that, you weren't paying attention. All right, Victoria Gordo, talk to me. You're on mute.
I was on mute. Sorry. So I was at the solo agent mega block, and they had a panel with Kimber Mankiti. Is that his name?